Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today I'm going to be going over some of the biggest attraction killers of all time. So have you ever been in a situation where things are going really well with a girl in the beginning, and then all of a sudden they're just not, and you're sitting there wondering what the heck happened, what you did wrong, what's going on, and you're probably just really overanalyzing and overthinking things. And of course, sometimes, things don't work out, and that's okay, and that's just how relationships go naturally sometimes. But there are sometimes things you're doing that you might not even realize you're doing that are drawing that other person away, that are just really some of the biggest attraction killers of all time. And of course, I want you guys to be yourself, but I want you guys to be the best version of yourself. And to be quite honest, if you're doing any of the things on this list, that is probably not the case. So, I want you to be yourself in a relationship and to attract someone that is naturally attracted to you without you trying to be someone that you're not. But these things are things that nobody should be doing. So if you cut these out of your life, you're not going to be missing anything. Number one, we have needy or clingy behavior. So you guys have probably heard a ton of people talk about this before, and that is because it is such a big deal. Being needy and being clingy are two of the most unattractive things that you can do, man or woman. I don't know if you guys have ever been with a girl that is very clingy and needy all the time, but that is just as annoying as if you were needy and clingy. So just keep in mind, it's really bad on both sides. If you constantly need words of affirmation, attention, or validation from the person that you're seeing, you could be needy. Being needy or clingy often stems from some sort of insecurity, as do most negative things. Sometimes it can also come from our childhood trauma, the way we were raised. It all comes from prior conditioning. So if you're finding yourself doing this, understand that it is fixable. It's something that you can work on and overcome. And the more comfortable and secure and confident you get with yourself, the less needy and clingy you will be. So being needy or clingy gets really old after a while, and by a while, I mean a very short while. So this is going to kill any sort of attraction that someone has to you, and it's going to feel like they have to babysit you or coddle you all the time or baby you all the time, and that is just a horrible feeling, especially in a romantic relationship when you're supposed to be a partner with someone. Now, I do think it's important to be with someone who is encouraging, who is supportive, who is your biggest cheerleader, but you shouldn't have to force those things out of someone, and it should just happen naturally. So like I mentioned in the beginning, if you're constantly trying to ask for validation, asking, are you sure that you like me? Are you sure you want to be with me? You deserve to be with someone better. Do not say those things. It's going to kill any attraction that this girl has for you. You should also be able to be secure and confident on your own without that validation from someone else. So when you're in a relationship with someone, you get encouragement and validation pretty naturally from them. They'll give you a compliment. They'll tell you that you look nice. They'll tell you how great you are. And that's just kind of part of being in a relationship. But you should be able to stand alone and be totally fine without those things. A person that you're with should not be completing you. They should be complimenting you. So you should be able to be perfectly happy on your own without them, and they should just enhance your life and your happiness. So moral of the story here is to be confident in who you are and what you bring to the table. If you aren't even confident and secure in yourself, how the heck is someone else supposed to be confident and secure with you? Short answer is they won't be. So it's going to kill attraction. Being needy or clingy is something that you should absolutely avoid at all cost. Number two is jealous and possessive. So these two often go hand in hand. Normally jealousy ends up leading to some sort of control. Some people think that jealousy is a display of love when really it's just a huge turnoff. I don't know if you guys have ever dated anyone jealous. I have dated someone who was jealous for absolutely no reason, and it was one of the biggest turnoffs and just gross, insecure things I've ever seen a man do, and I would never want to be with a guy who was any sort of jealous. So I can imagine you guys wouldn't want to date a girl that's very jealous either. Nobody wants to be with someone who is jealous and insecure about everything, and if you do, you probably have some sort of deep-rooted issue that you need to work on. When you act jealous, you're really just subliminally communicating that you don't feel like you're good enough and you're insecure. And the way that jealousy is often acted out is never cute on anyone. It comes in the form of anger, resentment, disgust, sadness, whatever the heck it is. It doesn't look cute on anybody, so I would highly recommend getting a grip on this and quit doing it. And just a pro tip here, if you're with someone that is doing things that makes you feel insecure, you probably shouldn't be with them anyways. Women love a confident guy with a purpose, and a guy with a purpose does not get jealous, he does not get possessive, he is not needy, and he is not clingy, because he knows that regardless of what happens, he will be fine on his own, which is something that you guys should all be striving towards. I think having a purpose in life and really going after what you want out of your life is the most important thing of all. Number 3, we have being too passive. So this is something that I haven't really seen a ton of people talk about, but I think it's incredibly important because most girls, whether they admit it or not, want a guy who is dominant. Most women like a man to take the lead and be a little bit more dominant. And when I say dominant, I do not mean controlling. I do not mean aggressive. I just mean someone who is a leader and who takes initiative in the bigger things in life, in the relationship, in stressful situations, whatever it is. She should feel safe and secure with you. If a woman constantly has to take the lead in the initiative in your relationship, her masculine energy is going to outweigh her feminine energy, which is not good for anyone. So I know a lot of you guys say you want to be with someone who's feminine, but women are able to be the most feminine when they're with someone that makes them feel safe and secure. So if you're not providing that for her, how is she supposed to embrace that energy and that part of herself? So just something to keep in mind here, guys. If you're never taking the initiative, if you're never taking the lead, it's going to really decrease any sort of sexual chemistry between the two of you and probably just chemistry in general. So keep this one in mind going forward. It's a big one. Number 4, you're not setting boundaries. So setting boundaries is important for yourself and for any relationship in your life, but especially your romantic relationships. Someone who sets boundaries is secure in themselves and confident in what they bring to the table, and they're not afraid to say no to things that they just really don't want to do. And of course, do not get me wrong here, any of you guys watching that are currently in a relationship or married or whatever it is, know that a relationship comes with a lot of compromise and a lot of sacrifice, and sometimes we have to do things that maybe aren't at the top of our list, maybe are things that we don't necessarily want to do, but we do them because we love our partner and we want to make them happy. However, that does not mean saying yes to absolutely everything that your partner asks of you, and I think it is so important to say no to things. You do not have to say yes to every little thing, and honestly, if your partner makes you feel like a bad boyfriend or the villain if you ever say no, that is a much bigger problem that you should probably address. Letting people walk all over you is not good for you, the people in your life, or for attracting women. So when you set those boundaries, she's going to view you as confident, she's going to view you as masculine, and it's going to be incredibly sexy and attractive. So I would encourage you all to practice saying no to things. It is okay to say no. You do not have to say yes to everything, and setting boundaries is so important. And number 5, last on my list, is you're lazy or there's no effort there from you. So this one is a big one because this could be in regards to your own pursuits, like your dream or your purpose. It could be with school, it could be with a job, or it could just be in your relationship. So anything worth having normally does not come easy. It takes work and effort, and if you're not willing to put in the work in your relationship or in your own life, why would someone want to date you? And the same exact thing goes for you guys. You should want to date a girl who works hard for what she wants in life and not someone who's just waiting for a handout. And when I say you're lazy, understand that some days I wake up and I don't really have a ton of motivation, and I rely on good habits and good discipline to get the things done that I need to get done. You're not going to wake up every day and be 100% ready to hustle and ready to go, go, go. I think it's just as important that we take breaks and give ourselves a little bit of rest and not put so much stress on ourselves, because that's not good for our mental health. But also understand that if you want something, you have to work for it, and sometimes our laziness just gets in our own way. But understand that if you want something, you have to work for it, and I would hate for you to be the only one standing in your way just because you're a little bit lazy. And another thing I want to point out here is that when I say no effort, I don't mean, you're not taking her out to all these fancy dinners or you're not spending a ton of money on her. That is not what no effort or low effort looks like. I've seen a lot of people on TikTok talk about how if you take her out for a coffee date or go for a walk, then you're a low effort man, and I just simply don't agree with that. We're all different. We all have different personalities, and we all like to do different things. There are some girls that would not want to go out to a fancy dinner all the time, or do this or this, and they would just really simply enjoy a walk in the park or a coffee date, and that does not make you low effort. So I've seen a couple girls on TikTok talk about this, and that's why I wanted to address it here, because I don't think that doing something laid back is the same as low effort. To me, low effort is not planning anything, showing up late, showing up looking like you just rolled out of bed, not talking on the date. You're literally just sitting there answering questions that she's asking you. To me, that would be low to no effort. I think if you plan a date, if you show up for yourself and for that other person, you're keeping the conversation going, you're really putting in the work, I don't think that's considered low effort. So just something to consider. You don't have to take a girl out to a 5-star restaurant or 3-star. I don't know how Michelin stars work. You don't have to take her out to a very fancy dinner in order to be considered high effort. And if you're someone that likes to do more laid back things like a coffee date or a walk or a picnic or something like that, then, you know, if a girl expects more from you, then maybe she's just not the girl for you. So I just wanted to touch on that really quickly, that I don't think low effort or no effort is necessarily sometimes what people say it is. I guess it really just depends on the girl, but it's important to find someone whose idea of effort translates to the same as yours. And for all the people watching who are in a relationship, I think sometimes when you're in a long-term relationship, we can get a little bit comfortable, we can get a little bit complacent and start to kind of take our partner for granted a little bit because we think that they're always going to be there. Your relationship is going to change over the course of how long you're with someone, but I think it's still important, regardless of how long you've been dating, to make sure that your partner feels valued and make sure that they know that you're not taking them for granted or getting lazy or complacent with your relationship. So to wrap this one up, again, I think anything worth having, it takes a little bit of work. So make sure, regardless of how long you've been seeing someone, that you're still putting in the effort and you're not getting lazy or complacent with your relationships or yourself. You know, if you're not right with yourself, you're not going to be able to give your full self to your relationship either. And your relationships can only be as healthy as the relationship you have with yourself. So don't forget that. All right, guys, that is all I have for 5 of the biggest attraction killers of all time. If you liked this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys on there as well. Let me know in the comments down below if you think I missed anything. What is your #1 attraction killer of all time? Would love to hear it down below and get a conversation going all about that. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.